How's it going, everyone? We're back and we've made it. Session 20 of 20. If you were here for the entire journey, if you've made it through all of the courses, congratulations. You've done what most won't, and that's the first step to success here. But today is session 20, putting it all into action. We've been talking about a whole lot of stuff in the last 19 classes here for our beginning day trader course. We've talked about a lot of strategies, fundamentals, setups, heuristics, processes, all sorts of stuff out there. So now I want to get us in the frame of, well, now what? What should I do now? I've watched my first or my second or my third day trading course series, and I've been doing the studying. I think I'm ready to run with the wolves out there. So what do I do now? So we're going to be going through just some reiteration, some, kind of refining and reanalysis, making sure we're all on the same page as we walk away today, and that when you walk away from this course, you should hopefully be in the mindset of what you need to do to become a consistently profitable trader. Some of this might seem like review, but a lot of this is just going to be helping you put all of this into a plan of action. That's what we're looking for here. So first off, let's start off with some quotes, because usually we start off with a habit, with some quotes and such, but these quotes kind of really embody where we're going from here, especially as traders. The first one is from Jack Schwager, Market Wizards, very famous book. If you have not read that yet, I highly recommend it. There is no single market secret to discover, no single correct way to trade the markets. Those seeking the one true answer to the markets haven't even gotten as far as asking the right question, let alone getting the right answer. Fantastic quote. It really embodies what we've been teaching here these last 19 classes. The hard work in trading comes in the preparation. The actual process of trading, however, should be effortless. Same man, and this man has interviewed a whole lot of successful traders. He has some fantastic insights and books on this, on how to become a successful trader. Another one, if a trader is motivated by the money, then that is the wrong reason. A truly successful trader has got to be involved and into the trading. The money is the side issue. The principal motivation is not the trappings of success. It's usually the byproduct. Simply stated, the game's the thing. Nice little quote there. And then the final two, invest in yourself as much as you can. You are your own biggest asset by far. And that's Warren Buffett. And that's such a true statement. That's why we're going through these courses, why you're watching these videos. Not to give you stupid little setups that won't work in a year or something like that, but to really help you invest in yourself. A peak performance trader is totally committed to being the best and doing whatever it takes to be the best. He feels totally responsible for whatever happens and thus can learn from his mistakes. These people typically have a working business plan for trading because they treat trading as a business. And that's something we're going to be talking about today and reiterating as you move forward. You need to be treating trading as a business, and that's Dr. Van Tharp, someone that Mike, I know at least, has quoted numerous times through these courses, a really intelligent person who has done a lot of studying and due diligence in becoming a successful trader. Well, now that we're ready to kick off here, let's just say, look, congratulations, you've made it. It may sound silly, but you have at least learned what sets the 10% of successful traders apart from the unsuccessful. It may not seem like you've learned much in the last 19 classes revolving trading, but it's true. You've learned the Holy Grail of trading. You've learned how important it is to know yourself and your process and look inwards, and it's really about you. You've learned about how to build a trading plan, the trading plan that is going to carry your trading forward and help you grow as a professional trader. We're trying to be professionals here, not amateurs. You've learned about proper risk management, which is vital to surviving in the market and succeeding in the long term. You've learned about ways to get an edge in the marketplace and several tools and processes for managing your weaknesses and your mind. That's all that this is. We've talked about this time and time again. The technical skills, the know-how of trading, that's not what makes a good trader. That is not what makes a successful trader. That is not how you elevate yourself above the markets. It's really all of the processes, the tools, curbing your emotions, having a plan, properly managing your risk. It's all of the nuts and bolts that most of the people out there completely ignore. So, like I said, now you have all of this information, you have all of this knowledge. I mean, we've gone over 19 classes. This is our 20th. In the meantime, we have morning videos and midday videos and all this other stuff. There's so much content. You have so much knowledge crammed into your brain. Where do you go from here? It might seem a little overwhelming for some, to suddenly be kind of dropped off at the curb here. And, you're not all alone. You're not alone in this process. You never will be if you don't wish to be. And we just want to remind you here of why you started watching these to begin with. Why did you start watching this video, the first video, whatever video you started, wherever you started? Why did you start reading the book? The goal for you or for everyone out there is to become a consistently profitable trader to achieve financial freedom. Look, if you're out there to just gamble and have some fun, so be it, but that's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you become professional, consistent, profitable, and achieve freedom that most people don't get to seek and achieve in this market. So what are we going to do today? Well, today we're going to create a plan so that you can keep up the momentum you've generated. If you've been watching these videos, hell, even if you've watched this video, you've generated a little bit of momentum, and you don't want that momentum to stop. You want to continue to push it forward. We've had these 20 classes with, I think, over 40 hours of learning at this point. More breakout classes are obviously going to come because there's so much more that we could possibly talk about. But for now, you need to organize it so that you can keep this momentum and carry it with you and use that momentum and install what you've learned and start using it practically in the marketplace. So we're going to be going over some power virtues that you must focus on every day to be successful. If you've been watching these classes over the last couple of weeks here, they're going to seem pretty familiar to you because these virtues must be focused on every day. You need to incorporate them in all areas of your life. You can't just like turn them on and off when you're trying to trade. They need to be front and center, and they will bring you success in every endeavor that you try to bring out. Now, we're also going to go over some core components that you need to be successful. Learning in fragments and chunks and learning in courses over the span of weeks is one thing, but now grabbing all of these fragments, putting them together into this beautiful puzzle that you can then use and incorporate in your trading and in your life, that's something else entirely. We're going to go through the tools and processes that you need to create now before you begin, or if you've already begun, then you need to stop and create these now because you need to get back to the basics and not let life get in your way. We're going to give you a step-by-step plan moving forward in our opinions because, look, if you want to take this seriously and get successful, you should probably schedule out the next 6 months on where you want to be, what step-by-step plans and pathway you're going to take to become successful. If you don't even want to plan that out, what are you doing here? So let's start off with our power virtues. What is a power virtue? Well, it's not an inborn personal trait. No one's born with discipline or mindfulness or relentlessness. It's a habit and a state of mind that you cultivate and you grow like a garden. We are here to grow and we're here to develop these traits, and it's an ongoing struggle. It's an ongoing act. You don't eventually just become disciplined and never have to practice and check yourself and make sure that you're growing these things. So it's discipline, mindfulness, relentlessness, patience, and adaptability. If these seem familiar, that's because every week we talked about a different one. So if you hadn't watched those previous classes, maybe check those out, see what we have to say about some of these. We're going to talk about them here in a moment as well. But these are here as a shield to protect us from difficulty, from trouble, and from suffering. If you can master these, you'll save yourself so much pain. And each of these virtues is like another power that's going to help us achieve a sense of well-being that we wouldn't be able to achieve otherwise in the markets. And they may look just very generic, but there's simple, easy ways that you can bring them into the marketplace and into trading. One way that we love doing is visualization. We've talked about mantras, incantations. This is one of the ways you should do it. Write this down on a piece of paper. Write it down on a piece of paper and read this in front of you every single day. It can be this. It can be some kind of powerful variation of this. Whatever speaks to you and gets into your soul and you feel it and you feel good about it. That's what you need to have in front of you, and you need to read it every day. And it might seem stupid, but your mind believes whatever you tell it. And the more and more you tell this, the more and more that those neurons and those pathways are just going to be laid in the background, and you're going to start to alter your thinking without even realizing, and you're going to start to believe believe yourself, even if you don't when you first start reading these. Something like this that can help you kind of get in the mindset when your mind is relaxed before you even begin the day could set a great precedent for you the rest of the day. So when we're talking about the first of these kind of power virtues, quote unquote, the first one is discipline in trading. And what you need to be doing is you need to give yourself predefined rules on what you're going to be doing every day or for every trade. And you need to follow these rules no matter the environment of the markets or the environment around you, because following those rules, that's how you effectively measure your system. If you don't follow your rules and you don't get the results you want, how do you know that it was the system that wasn't working and not your inability to carry out things? That's in trading, that's in life, that's in whatever you want to apply this to. So you need to act in accordance with your thoughts and your logic here when it comes to your rules and your processes, not your feelings. So how do you get discipline in trading? Well, you need to create a plan. It needs to be concrete. You don't just discipline off the seat of your pants. You need to know, well, I have rules. These are my rules on how I prep for the day. These are my rules on how I decide to enter a trade and exit a trade and review. This is my review process. These are my rules for my routine. You need to trust those rules, and you need to accept that no routine, no trading plan, nothing out there is going to be bulletproof. Nothing is not going to bring losses. You're going to have losses. You're going to have gains. You need to accept these into you, as a part of your trading plan, because every single process needs to account for loss, because it's going to happen. You need to accept those and not fight against them, because then you're fighting against your own system. So, doing the things in this course is a great example of discipline. You just sitting here watching these videos, if you've gone through all of them, a great example of discipline. If you've gone through making your trading plan, great example. You're building this. Mindfulness in trading. You need to be in the present, and it's really just about inward looking. We're not talking about higher level of awareness of the market. It's really higher level of awareness and notions of yourself. Am I coming into the market with a preconceived idea or preconceived bias of where the market should be according to me? Because if you are, then you need to be aware of that. Because a lot of times when trading, traders get stuck in fear and emotions, and they don't even realize. They double down, they get in too big of a size, they get stubborn when a stock's moving against them, because they're not mindful enough to realize that they're not seeing it properly. They're so focused on the minutia and the ticks of the market that they're getting lost in all of the noise. And so, they end up making a lot of judgments and decisions and biases based on beliefs and emotion, not on logic and not on their processes that they should have been building. So you need to be aware of what your place in the markets is. Just be aware of who you are, what your trading strategy is, and who you are as a trader, and that's going to help you going forward. We've talked about visualization. If you haven't, seen some of our mindfulness courses and some of the courses in the second, I believe, week of these classes, we talk a lot about visualization. It is such a powerful tool, and it can really help you elevate your mindfulness before you go into the trade, before you go into the markets, and it can really help you just kind of clear your mind and zone out and make sure you are seeing the bigger picture. The next one is relentlessness. Trading is a marathon. These videos were a marathon. I didn't expect anyone to watch these in 1 day, 2 days, or even 1 week. None of us did, because look, it's a long-term process. There's a lot of growing to be done, a lot of learning to be done. Every single day you enter the market is a learning experience. Even if you don't enact a trade, if you watch the market, you are learning something. You're seeing how markets trade. You're seeing how stocks move. You're a student of the market. You're always going to be a student. Many traders, like I've said in the past, sometimes it takes people 1 to 2 years to finally click and get it. It's not this simple cookie cutter. You'll be a successful trader in 1 week if you do this, or 6 months if you do this. Yes, there are frameworks for you to elevate that process and speed up that process, but don't get frustrated with yourself if you're making mistakes a month from now, or if you're still not quite consistently profitable 4 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. If you're patient, if you're constantly learning, seeking out other sources of knowledge and growing yourself, both personally and as a trader, you will eventually get it. Trading is preparation meeting opportunity. This is all preparation. Everything you've been watching and doing, this is you preparing yourself. And the more you prepare yourself, when you eventually enter the marketplace and you see something, well, if you're fully prepared, you're going to be like, Oh, I know this. I've seen this, or I'm fully prepared for this trade because I know my rules, I know my process, my trade, I've got my trading plan. And so, being relentless in figuring that out and preparing, that's how you do it in your review in everything. We talked about that book Outliers and how, there's kind of that unspoken 10,000 hours on something to become a master on it. We're not saying you have to spend 10,000 hours in trading, but if you even remotely believe that rule, if you even remotely believe that to become a master and to really become elite in something, you need to spend thousands of hours, why would you expect to be, done and successful after a 20-part series or after 6 months in the market, a year in the market? This is a very ongoing process, and in the meantime, you need to be relentless. And this actually goes into our, pretty nicely into our next power virtue, which is patience. The learning curve is the key. You need to learn from your mistakes. You're always going to have mistakes. Always. I don't care if it's 20 years from now in the markets and you're an expert in the markets, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to make a whoopsies. You're going to, maybe fail a process or miss a trade or do something. It happens. We're human. But this is kind of what it takes. You need to wait for that trade. When we're traders, we're not, jumping out and trying to force things out of the market. We're patient. We're those lions waiting for the injured gazelle. We're the sniper waiting for the perfect shot. Whatever metaphor you want to use that we've hit you over the head with, that's what you need to be. And you need to give a position time to develop. You need to let your winners run, cut your losses short. Money is made by sitting, not trading. I think that is a fantastic little metaphor there, even as day traders. If you're always actively trading, unless you're a micro scalper, and that's an entirely separate thing, but in the same time, even if you're a micro scalper, there will be periods where you have to wait for that setup. You need to be prepared. And in sitting there, not trading, you're protecting yourself until that excellent A+ trade comes along. And finally, the last one here is adaptability. This is really the key to long-term survival in business and in the markets. I've already talked about this. It's about staying ahead of the competition, reacting and changing as market environments change, and being able to understand that if something of your trading process or your routine or whatever isn't working, don't be stubborn. Don't take it personally. You need to be detached from that and emotionless in the sense that you need to understand that it's not necessarily you. Maybe the markets change. Maybe your process has changed. Maybe you need to change your trading style. And being able to adapt to a constantly changing market is how you're going to survive long term. There are going to be stretches of times where trade setups and opportunities and certain patterns don't work. It happens. The market changes as participants change, as the economy changes, the regulations change. And so you need to slowly be developing your trading style changes and slowly be tweaking as you go. This isn't saying that every 6 months you need to completely overhaul. Once you create that foundation and create the proper processes and beliefs, then it's going to be easy. You're just changing the stuff within those processes and the content within those routines, and that is it. So, kind of bringing it back, what are the key components of being a successful trader? First, getting those power virtues, getting that, that core, belief and that core structure within you that every successful trader has. Most people out there don't want to do what is necessary to become successful. I mean, it's incredible. So many people have watched the first 2 videos and it's just like, I just want to go out and trade. I thought they were going to give us trading setups. I thought they were going to give us patterns to trade off of. And so many people don't want to do what is necessary. And so, we've given you the secrets. We've unraveled it for you. This, before you is at its core the Holy Grail. There's no reason to, worry about the other stuff. It's really about solidifying the foundation and your core beliefs and mastering these virtues. And then also, treat trading as a business. Create a business plan, a trading plan. And these are the components. I'll mention them all briefly. We did a whole class on that in, I believe it was day trading class number 2. And as I go along here, cards for the previous videos will be popping up. So if you ever need a refresher on any of this, be sure to check out for that link if it pops up. Go through our other videos and refresh yourself here, because the trading plan has several components there. And you really need to make sure that all of them are just as strong as the others so you're not lopsided here. Number 3, your risk management plan. You need proper position sizing. You need positive expectancy using R multiples. Focusing on risk it should be on your risk and not profits. You're always managing your risk. You're playing defensively. You're protecting your capital. You're always thinking, if this trade loses, am I okay? Am I okay with that? And so risk management is really the goal in trading itself. And then number 4, your tools and processes. You need to just create processes for how you're going to handle your education. You can't let life get in the way. Yes, you may have ups and downs and hiccups here, but you can't just think about this stuff. You can't just let it pass through your brain and pass out your ear, out the other side. You need to do these processes and set these schedules and write in a journal and rehash your mantra. No matter how simplistic or silly it sounds, these things are going to work as you slowly amplify them as you go along. And then we need that constant and never-ending improvement. Everything is a constant living document. Everything should be constantly changing as you make new discoveries and make new distinctions in the market. As you as a person change, as your goals change, as your vision changes. All of this should just be free flow, set, not just set in stone and you have to fit yourself in this structure and rigid, you have to trade like this because this is what you decided 5 years ago. This is an ever-evolving document just as you as a trader are. So you have a trading plan, now we're going to talk about the trading plan, which is what you need to have now. Before you go in the markets and before you try to go out and be a big trader and swing around, you need to have this trading plan. And like I said, those are the components: the vision statement, purpose statement, beliefs, your edges, your strategy, your risk management, your goals, system review, and trading commitments. I'm going to go all of these now. We talked about them a lot more in depth in class 2. So let's just, your trading plan is a living document. I've already said that. It needs to be fluid and flexible. Keep it simple. You don't need to sit there and burn yourself out trying to create this 200-page, novel or scholarly article. This is just for you, and it needs to come from you. And that mindfulness core virtue, this is where it's really going to come into effect, because you need to know yourself. You need to know, what am I good at, what am I weak at, what's my risk tolerance, what are my commitments, how much time and money am I willing to put forward to this, how do I learn? Am I an auditory person? Am I a visual person, kinesthetic? There's a lot of personal things that you need to know before you even step out into the markets, before you even start making your plan. You need to first look inward, because how else are you going to know this stuff? So just as a reminder, the components of the trading plan, which you should have: vision statement. What does your ultimate trading life look like? Just sit there for a moment. How does it feel? What is your life like as an excellent trader, as that successful quote unquote trader? The more detail you give here, the more specifics, the better, because you're really going to personalize and invest in it and identify with it. How does it interact with the rest of your life? How does your social life or your family life or your spiritual life, how does all of this ride in tune with this ultimate trading life? So this isn't something you do in 10 minutes. This is something that should be burning in there and that you see in the future. If you don't know what your goal is at the end of the road, how the hell are you going to know when you get there? How the hell do you know what direction you should be heading, and what your goals are, and what all of this is even for, which is leading us to our next, which is our purpose statement. Why are you doing this? Why are you watching these videos? Why are you going to make this trading plan? This here, you should get emotional. It can't be about the money. You're not going to succeed if it's all about the money. We say it time and time again. People don't believe us. Money is not a good enough motivator, because that's just going to alter your perception of losses and alter your perception of your trading plan and of successes in the markets. Why are you doing this? What are you doing it for? Get serious and get personal with it. Trading beliefs. You need to think about, well, what do I believe in the market? What are my beliefs on trading in the market? You need to make sure that your beliefs and your beliefs of trading and of the market are empowering beliefs. You can't have these beliefs like, oh, I might be able to make money, or oh, the market's really mean, and I need to hope that it is nice to me. No, you need to have these strong beliefs. I must be independent and not follow anyone blindly. I must learn the habit of visualization, incorporate into my trading. You need to Believe that you can pull money from the market. Believe that the more time you put into your review, the more you'll get out of it. Believe that, this is all that it takes. Believe that this is the Holy Grail here. Believe, in the processes and in the proper things. You need to list these beliefs out because you should be reviewing them. Make sure that everything you do is in line with your beliefs in the market. You're not letting yourself stray off the path just because of some frustrating losses or some down moments or whatever else might be happening in your life. Your mental edge. How are you going to guard your mind in trading? What are the heuristics that affect me? Am I prone to falling for recency bias? Am I prone to have a fear of missing out, FOMO? What are the biases that affect you? And what are the processes and systems, review systems, emotional journals, whatever that you will use to help avoid these from controlling your trading and influencing your decisions on entering and exiting positions? How are you going to protect and guard your mind? Are there going to be mantras you're going to read? What mantras are there? What are the situations you foresee arising, and how are you going to combat it? We need solid mental edge plans here, people. You need to have an edge in the markets, both in your mental side and in your trading side, which leads to the next one. What's your competitive edge in the marketplace? You need to know what your edge is going to be. How are you going to be successful? And what is your plan going forward? What do you have that most of the other traders don't? What is it that you're going to really use to cut your teeth on the market and pull out a living out of this market? Your trading strategies. All right, this is where this is an ongoing document. Trading strategies change and move. Start thinking about, well, what indicators am I going to try using? What are my setups going to be? What's my time frame I'm going to analyze with? What are my entries and exits? Yes, you do need to understand this stuff at least, because you need to have a trading system to an extent. It will make your time in the markets that much easier. You want to have that trading process to be able to review. So you need to start putting down on pen and paper what is your trading strategy? What are your strategies in different market environments? A sideways market, a bear market, a bull market, what have you. What is your risk management? What's your tolerance? How much are you willing to risk a day, a week, a month, a trade? Are you going for 3-to-1 trade? Are you going to try to make $3 for every dollar you risk? What is your multiple? What is your position sizing? How much capital are you going to put out there? You need this. If you don't have this, I don't care if you have a strategy that wins 90% of the time, you could absolutely still lose money. It doesn't matter, because if your sizing's messed up and you're inconsistent and you're risking too much on your losses, and you have these blowout losses whenever you do lose, and you don't follow this risk management rules, and you don't write these rules down and follow them, then you're going to lose in the market. And if you don't lose in the market, then you're going to be lucky that you didn't lose in the market. You should count your blessings, because this is something that you need to know. And yes, you can improve upon these and grow these as you grow as a trader and become more successful. What are your financial goals? Give yourself some targets, some signs, and make sure you're going along the right path and that you're actually improving. Yes, P&L, you don't want to let it drag you down, especially when you're first starting out, but it can be an important indicator that tells you, is this strategy successful? Is the market changing? Do I have a flaw? Maybe I'm too big. Maybe my entries are too wild or too inconsistent. Maybe I'm risking too much. You don't trade all based off of your P&L, but you can use that as a direct reflection in the long term over, do I need to tweak some things? And so having financial goals and understanding, when am I going to take money out of the market? When am I going to take some profits and such that I've built up? Have some of these milestones in place for you. System review. This is very, 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 very important. We talked about this, I believe, on class 18. You really need to make sure that you have this in your mind. How are you going to review? How are you going to review your trades, review your emotions? How are you going to plan your trades, execute your trades, analyze your trades, and refine your trades? All of this needs to be set in stone. This needs to be, what is your system and your process? And you can improve upon this. Maybe you learn about a new software technology that can help your review process, or you learn a new way of examining your trades. That's fine, but you need to review, and it needs to be serious review, not just like, oh, did I make money at the end of the day kind of thing, or, oh, did this trade work out? No, this needs to be serious review. What are your commitments? This is the final thing. List things that you are going to commit to in your trading plan, that you're going to commit to in trading. I will wake up at X time. If I don't, I will not trade, or I will do this. I'm committing to giving the next 6 months to trying to learn this. I'm committing to watching X amount of videos and content and reading X amount of books. I'm committing to this system, to this schedule. So these are the components of that trading plan, and this is what you need to have. You need this before you begin. So what do you need to believe before you trade? Because look, we've already talked about this. It's all in the head. It's all in the personal self here. To be a successful day trader, it is 90% mental edge, 10% skill, all right? And to achieve success, you need to have that sound psychological process so you can continue to develop. So what is it that you need to believe and understand before you can even think about entering the markets? First of all, your emotional intelligence is vital. You're not going to be able to just purge emotions out of you. You're not going to be able to trade like a robot for an extended period of time. And so you need to have a system of recognition and response to those emotions rising. And you can do that by having processes and tools like an emotion journal that we talked about, I believe, in class 18. And you use these tools to make sure that you're constantly checking yourself. Don't be overly critical of yourself. You need to understand, what is my decision-making process in a trade, and have the emotional awareness of, am I afraid of being wrong? Do I get afraid of losing money? Do I have a fear of missing out? Do I have that FOMO? And being able to recognize these things when they occur and having a system to keep them in check, that is how you will be able to sustain yourself in the market and not let your own fears and biases influence your trades. I mean, this is it. This is all we've been talking about. The Holy Grail. It is your internal control and it is your risk control. Those are the two pillars that your trading should be built on. Knowing yourself and, having this trading plan that is right for you. This is why we're not giving you, when this does this, buy here and hold here and sell here, because that might not be the right trading strategy and trading plan for you. You might be a scalper, a swing trader, a momentum trader, a long-term trader, an arbitrage trader, IPO trader, whatever. You could be any kind of trader out there, as long as you have a trading plan that fits you and coincides with your risk control, with your internal control, gives you the things that fit you. This isn't technical. It's mental, and that's probably why so many people, can't grasp onto this properly and don't gravitate towards this, because it's almost intangible to a lot of people. And it's not just this set of setups. It's this, constant reevaluation and knowing yourself. So, some ways to do that is do some SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity analysis, or threats. You need to be able to assess your strengths and weaknesses, that internal control. Don't follow the crowd. Yes, learn from others, go out there and follow others, but if there's a bunch of people that are saying, I'm going to buy this stock, don't just buy the stock. If there's a bunch of people that are trying to tell you, oh, you can't do this, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, develop your own system, your own plan, make sure that it's based in logic and reason and study and discipline and education. And trade in a way that complements your strengths and minimizes your weaknesses. That's why you need to identify, well, what are my strengths, my weaknesses? Am I impatient? Do I want to hold things for too long? Because then you need to be trading in a style that can help exemplify those bonuses that you have. This is going to take a lot of self-reflection, a whole lot of experimentation and experience. That's why you need to have that patience to let things unfurl, to slowly work your way through this, because this will take time. You're not going to be able to sit down, even if you did it for a month and just sat down for a month and just free float on self-reflection. You're eventually going to learn some different things when you're faced with new experiences, new fears in the market, or might reveal something that you didn't expect from yourself. And so this is going to be constant, ongoing experimentation and tweaking and experience. So, some ways to combat, these fears that we've talked about, is recognizing greed and fear. Greed and fear are the two probably largest emotions that you'll see in the market. Sit down and think about how you experience that fear. And you can do that if really easily if you start using that emotion journal. Write about the emotions you're feeling in your trades. Have the awareness of the early signs and symptoms where you start getting nervous. Maybe you start tapping your foot, you chew your nails, you start queuing up orders to get out early for no reason. Understand your relationship to these emotions, and then by journaling these emotions in your constant state, have that process for then confronting them and recognizing, do I need to decrease my size? Will that help me reduce my fear? Do I need to have a better scaling out system where I take profits and lock in profits? Will that give me more confidence? Having some kind of system like that and a system to identify these fears when they come will help you face them before they can ruin a perfectly good trade. So the importance of processes and beliefs. Look, We keep saying this. Making money in the market has nothing to do with predicting the markets or even picking the right stock. You could trade, if you're looking for the stocks in play and you have a list of 10 and you're only going to watch 3 of them, you could pick the worst stocks of the bunch. You could pick stocks that don't even move. That doesn't matter. Because at some point you will make the right decisions. You will pick the stocks in play. You will have follow the stocks and try to trade the stocks that fit your system. And if you have a process and rules and process for deciding on entering a trade, just because you picked the wrong stock doesn't mean you're going to blow yourself out. You're only going to be entering trades that fit your criteria in your system anyway. So, if you have the right processes, you're going to make money even if you pick terrible stocks. You don't have to predict where the market's going. You could be wrong 20% of the time, or sorry, 80% of the time out there and still make money in the market if you have a good enough system. The system will be your edge. You don't need to just win in the markets. That's not the goal here. The goal is the long-term win. Getting that edge, just that edge enough where you're able to pull out ahead and you're able to get, have a good process for entering, and you don't let emotion dictate. We've talked about risk management. Knowing yourself is gonna be what helps you control your emotions. We've talked about that, and you need to make sure you have that risk management system that fits you. If you notice, everything in here is going to deal with self-control. Know your environment. Where you are in life, where are you in time and finance, what are the markets environments like, and really taking a moment, even just write these down. What are the different environments you're in? Your office environment, your life environment, your family environment, your financial environment, the market environment. Know all of these things because that'll help you properly set your risk parameters and know what your objectives are. Know your why and what the risk is for you and how much you're willing to risk and what your plan is. And after that, managing that risk is going to be so much easier because you know when you're stopping. You know when I need to stop trading today or when I need to get out of this trade or what my goals here in the long term are and how I can have good risk management to give myself the opportunity to reach those goals over X amount of time. So risk management is so important, which is why the process needs to be fully developed. This can't just be some half-ass, well, I don't want to lose more than this much and I want to make money. You need to decide on these things, how much you're risking in everything. You need to let yourself survive in trading long enough to learn. We've talked about patience and adaptability and relentlessness. Well, if you don't have good risk management and you blow out your account in a month, all of that goes out the window. It doesn't matter at that point because you've already ruined it because you didn't protect yourself. Having rules that protect you, you need to believe in these rules so that you can follow them. You shouldn't be risking $3 to make $1. You need to understand the cost of mental mistakes. If you set these rules and you don't follow them and you blow out and have a 5 times loss that you were planning on having, it's going to take you that much longer to make it back. So you need to understand the impact if you do that. And you need to constantly be analyzing your system, your risks, and your beliefs. Maybe your objectives change, or the environment you're in changes, and your time horizon changes, and then you can start tweaking those things and constantly adapting. So one thing you need to decide on, what thing you need to know before you begin is what type of trader you'll be. Are you going to be a value trader, growth trader, income? You want to be a day trader? What fits your style and your goals? We talked about mapping ourselves and matching ourselves to our strengths and trying to fit in a trading style that minimizes our weaknesses. Well, this is, now where you start to do that. You need to determine what kind of trader am I going to be? If you hate being in and out of the markets, you don't like having to get in and out really quickly and speed, then scalping is not going to be for you. And if you don't want to sit there and invest and hold, or be in these really slow moving stocks, then identify the momentum stocks or the trading style that's going to fit you and helps build on your strengths. Yes, you need to have good, having good indicators and knowing the setups and technical processes. That's good, and that will come. That will come very easily. Very easily. Once you have the processes of review and the processes of, well, I'm going to try this, and then, for a week or two or a month, I'm going to review this and tweak it here and tweak it there. That'll all build upon itself. That'll build upon itself when you have good prep work, good processes, a good knowledge base on what you're looking for, and identifying a good starting system and a review process. Because if you don't have those things, it doesn't matter what indicators you use or what setups you use or the technical process. If you don't have a review process and a prep process and all of these rules in place, none of that will matter. And I swear it will not. So now we're going to take a moment and we're going to talk about what do you need to build before you begin. What are the tools that you should be building? And then we're going to talk about the plan that we think you should take going forward. And then I think we'll wrap it up from there. So what are these tools that you need that you really should have before you begin? You need to be building these tools and preparing them so that when you hit the ground running and trading and doing your processes, you're not building this as you go. We're not trying to build the train tracks in front of the train as it's rolling here. So next level tools that you can use, there need to be some process tools in there. Your trade journal, emotion journal, a journal or recording process for your education. You can't just absorb all of this mentally and not review it. Visualization tools and ways that you can help with that. Meditation, a daily schedule. We're going to go through a lot of these. And obviously the technology needs to be there. Build your scanners and your filters and your setups and your hotkeys and whatever else you as a trader can help you kind of elevate yourself. And all of this will take time to develop and process and refine and add and swap and whatever else you think. But these are some of the key ones that will really help you build for success. So when you're building a process for success, we talked about journaling and reviewing. This isn't just, you're reviewing your trades. It's got to be your emotions and your state when you're in trades. Again, we've talked about this in the past, but you need consistent and relentless review and reflection. You've got to be disciplined in doing this, because otherwise, how do you know if your trading strategy works? Even if someone gives you a trading strategy, what are you going to take their word for it? What are you going to assume that you're following the rules of the system properly and see what the P&L does? No, you still need to be reviewing your trades and rehashing on, are the entries good? Am I following the rules? Am I doing what I need? So then that way, if the system isn't working, you'll be able to identify that and figure out where you can adjust that. And by journaling and reviewing your emotions in trades and when things happen and such, you'll be able to follow your rules better and understand if emotion is controlling you. Mental processes. We've clearly, if you've been watching, we believe that mental edge is the most important here. So you're going to need processes to strengthen and refine this. The visualization before the open, while you're trading, before you do your review. All of this is going to help you stay positive and anticipate and keep fear in check. We love meditation, even if you just do it for 5 minutes before the market opens. Being just kind of quiet and still for a moment, letting your mind clear, breathing, making sure you're drinking water and doing all of the things to help just kind of center yourself is really going to help in the long run. If you're go nonstop from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., you will burn out. You won't realize that, you're starting to get a little wired. Maybe you're going to start to get tired and grumpy with the people around you, and you won't learn properly and you won't make the proper trades. So having these mental processes can really help. And then obviously, we've talked about your daily schedule. Trading needs to fit seamlessly into your life. You can't have inconsistent review periods and prep periods, and you can't be inconsistent with, how you're looking at the market and when you're looking at the market. You need to have this timing of your processes among your day. If trading is this big grading thing on your life, and you never have time to do the processes you need to do because you're doing all these other things, then maybe it's not time yet. You could still be building your trading plan and trying to identify, maybe some of your goals and the milestones of when you can begin, but you need to have that schedule that seamlessly, as best as its ability, can integrate itself into your life, because this is going to be a part of you. How are you going to expect to be able to make a consistent living or pull profits out of the market if you aren't going to let it become a part of your life and a part of your daily routine? The technical tools you'll need, you'll obviously need effective software and setups. You'll need good technology, good brokers, and make sure you do the proper review on what charts you want to use and trading platform you want to use and this and that. You want a good, clean work environment. You want the good monitors that'll, that are actually going to work and that'll fit you. You need the scanners and filters after you have the processes on how to use them and build them and refine them. So you do need these technical tools. Obviously, you won't be able to actually trade without them, but these should be some of the final tools that you're building. So in review, what do you need to do now? What do you think? Well, you're not alone in this. We've talked about that. We're always here during market hours. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. There's so many other traders out there, and so many of them do what we're trying to do in varying ways with different opinions and focuses. So you should broaden your horizons. And look, Mike and a lot of the guys, they want to continue to help giving back, and I believe in that. So, we're not trying to leave any person behind. And we've said this during our 1 p.m. podcast. If you want to, get a little more personalized attention and have someone review your trading plan, maybe help mentor you for a little bit, we do some morning discipline sessions on Zoom. Just send an info at our email at our info@vanttrading.com. We do try to do some trade reviews on Sundays in the mornings. There's other systems out there. There's other forums and chat rooms, and so we'll also be trying in the coming future to schedule some live trading sessions where maybe we'll just trade live on YouTube. I want to make sure we do that properly, though, obviously, because otherwise, if we're just showing trades and we're not giving you a proper setup and structure, that you won't learn properly from it, and people might try to chase us. So that's why I want to try to give us this good structured live scheduling system. And then obviously we're going to have some breakout classes. We've only been able to graze upon some of these some of these processes, some of the processes between options, market profile analysis, all of this. So we want to have some further analysis on some of this, really help to hone in on some of the specifics. And so obviously, on our YouTube, we're going to continue to try to put courses out and classes and things of that nature. Education is always an ongoing thing. And if you take part in any of this, the YouTube, the morning videos, emails, having someone review your process, there's no cost to this. This is all, there's no fee, no cost. I'm not trying to sell you on anything here. I'm just saying this is just an example of, there are ways to learn out there and bounce ideas off of others without having to spend money, without having to commit to anything. You're not alone in this. So what are the 10 processes to becoming a successful trader? Well, here are, what we think some of the 10 steps that you can do. Next, first of all, you need to reward yourself, and we're going to go through all of these. Get organized, complete your why, create your processes and your tools, start building your trading plan, get your routine and everything, start trading, evaluation, moving your trading size up, and then celebrate. So, this is the steps that we think you should be taking now. And for step 2, I say buy your equipment. That's because you need to spend some money. There needs to be some pain associated with quitting. Otherwise, as soon as you get tired of it, you're just going to quit. But if you actually have the setup and you get yourself committed a little bit, you get a little bit of pain if you quit, buying the stuff that you'll need might help in the future, whether it's the monitor or the computer, or the keyboard, or whatever. So step 1, we said, is reward yourself and commit. Do this immediately. You just spent 5 weeks learning the building blocks of becoming a successful trader. Reward yourself, because you've completed this. And if you're confused about things at the end and you're still not sure about some of the topics, that's perfectly fine. Trust me, that is normal. We didn't expect anyone to go through this once and suddenly understand everything we had to say. The fact that you've completed this and made it to the end, shows that you probably have what it takes to eventually make your way into being a consistently profitable trader. And so finding ways to reward yourself along the way is going to be very important, because that's going to make yourself feel better. It's going to give yourself a sense of progression. But now is also, after you kind of reward yourself and take that moment, now's the time to commit, baby, because now is when it starts. You need to commit that you want this. You need to commit to giving yourself that 6 months. And so that's how we kind of frame these 10 steps, is kind of over 6 months, so that hopefully over 6 months, you'll know if this is, if you've got the process and the system and you're ready to become successful. So the next step, and this is kind of day 2 or 3. And look, if for some reason you as a person are a little slower, or you stumble along the way and this takes you an extra month or takes you a couple extra days to do one of these steps, that's okay, so long as you're fitting it in your process and you're committed and your life happens. So make sure you have peace when you can, especially on this one. Days 2 and 3, you want to make sure you're getting organized. Schedule your tasks from start to finish in your calendar. Try to plan out those 6 months and give yourself deadlines and goals. Life and obligations will get in the way, but if you can plan them out for the next 6 months and really try to stay ahead of them and stay on top of on your game, you're going to stay on course a lot easier than you thought. So it's now, after that first day of rest and commitment, now you need to be planning your next 6 months. Start planning the tools that you're going to use to help keep yourself committed. Google Calendar can set you alarms and send you reminders every day on what's due. And this is how you start committing. do what you need to do, and get yourself ready and really plan. And then acquire your tools, get your trading equipment, your journals that you want, whatever you're going to use physically, and get that. Order it, get it ready so it gets here, and you're not waiting for it. You're not suddenly doing research at the last second, because then you're going to have that pain and that commitment of spending money, and now it's real. Step 3, and this can be, day 4, make sure you have peace away from all distractions, because this is when you need to write down your why. Why are you doing this? This is your why statement in your trading plan. This is where you need to take that day to dig deep, figure out what your fuel is here, and have it out on a piece of paper. Start thinking about your strengths and your weaknesses, your power virtues. Start thinking about this, because this is something that you should be reading every morning when you get up and every night when you go to bed, because you're reinforcing that why. This is the thing that's going to drive you forward and drive you through the next however many videos you watch and books you read, and through the next 6 months of trying to really develop yourself as a trader in the markets. Step 4 is kind of going to be for, day 5 to 7 is going to be, maybe a couple of days here, 5, 6, and 7. And this is where you're starting to develop, all right, what are my processes and my tools going to be? So you need to feed your mind and grow constantly. So you need to start thinking and developing over the next 3 days plan, well, what are the processes I'm going to use to learn, or what are my review processes going to be? How am I going to incorporate my virtues into these processes and make sure that my processes are helping me spend the next 6 months refining and integrating these power virtues? Have some processes on reviewing your discipline and reviewing your mindfulness and reviewing all of this to make sure that you're actually constantly tweaking and improving and looking inward. Start using your tools, start scheduling your day. This is something that you're going to need to continue to add to every week. Start deciding, what is my routine going to be every day? What am I going to do? When am I getting up? When am I going to do my review prep? What am I going to do watching the markets when I'm not trading? And then eventually when I am trading, what am I going to do review at the end of the day? What are the tools I'm going to use here? When am I going to meditate? There's great apps and books and YouTube videos that can help give you 5-minute meditation sections. Don't try to sit there and meditate for an hour right off the bat. That's not going to work, and you'll get frustrated. Just start small and slowly, gradually build it out. And some of the processes that you're going to need. You're going to need to develop, what is my education and learning process going to be? Because look, you're not done. We're always learning out there. There's always something new to learn in the market. So how are you going to take notes when you're learning something new, when you're watching a video? And how are you going to store these notes and organize them? Are you going to use Evernote? Are you going to have a binder with paper, which is perfectly fine if you're old school? Are you going to use Microsoft Word? Whatever you're going to use, create that process now. Create the folders, sign up for Evernote, and create the strategy and the structure and the core system, because you're not going to want to do it the first day. You need this stuff in place so that when you start learning and you start going out on the market, incorporating this is going to be as seamless as possible. You're going to need those mental and emotional processes. Have that emotional journal. Be aware and active. What are the steps you're going to take to write down your emotions when you're trading, or when you're watching the markets, or when you're doing your review prep? Because you're going to want to have somewhere to free flow and write down the emotions you're experiencing, because you're eventually going to need a system, and you're going to develop a process on, well, then how do I review those emotions, and how am I going to start getting these emotions in check? You should start now, not after you start trading. Start practicing on self-reflection and emotional reflection now. You're going to need a process around your daily schedule. Daily schedule is all about balance. And so how are you going to achieve what you're scheduling while still not feeling like you're stuck to this rigid thing that, has no flexibility for family or for church or for whatever else you might be doing, school or whatever. So, having kind of that calendar with alarms and some understanding of how things flow in your life and planning out, having those processes of reviewing your schedule and making sure you implement them and that you're following them, having a reward system for following your schedule and punishment system, that can help. And then what's your discipline plan and process? How are you going to start incorporating the discipline to follow all of these processes that we've talked about? Have a written plan of accountability. Write down, your plan for accountability. How are you going to hold yourself accountable? You're not going to be perfect. You're not. None of us follow our plans perfectly. Trust me. No one does. But if you're here to be intentional and you're not reacting to things and you're anticipating and you're being intentional in your commitments and what you do, it'll help. And it's all about doing whatever you can to make it as easy as possible to become disciplined and to have those processes and hold yourself accountable. So that's something you got to think about. Step 5 would be, this is, we're talking about 3 weeks here. This is why you need to start building your trading plan now. You've got your processes in place. You've got your structure, your computer, your setup, your daily schedule. Now for 3 weeks, you need to spend time really just building your trading plan. And if you've been doing this along with us during the course over the last 5 weeks, then guess what? You've got a bit of a jump start, and that might help you. But this needs to be written down. It needs to be a living document that you can go on, read through, and understand, and rehash and revitalize yourself with your writing. Working on your virtues and habits while you're building this out, and constantly going through your processes, because by the end of these 3 weeks, you want the daily schedule and those processes to be so ingrained in your system that by the time you're actually starting to do your reviews and walkthroughs and trading and watching the market, it's going to be easy because it's going to be a habit for you at that point. You don't want to try to be building the habits then. You want to be building those virtues and habits now while you're building this trading plan. So this is going to take some time in trading to complete your edge and strategy that fits you, obviously. I'm not expecting you to go out there and write down a trading plan and think of a trading edge right off the bat. Absolutely not. There's so many ways you can go about that. That's going to grow, trust me. But start thinking about how you're going to find that trading edge. How are you going to find that strategy, and how are you going to find that edge, and what do you envision it looking like? And if you have some ideas, write them down, get them core so that you can start preparing to build them and work on them and integrating them into your processes. It could take you longer. It could take you less time. It depends on how familiar you are with this process and if you've already been ahead of the game here. Step 6, this is probably going to be another 2 weeks or so, really ingraining that routine, starting to get your processes and doing some mental walkthrough here. Start practicing trading routines. Hopefully you've at least been watching the markets and stuff. But maybe your schedule's changed along the way. Maybe it's a little more optimized now. You realize, well, I think if I wake up here actually and I move this time block to here and I do this here, I really think it'll flow better for me as a person and with my life schedule. That'll help you. Make sure your why statement and your vision statement all are still a core part of you. Get a paper trading account open. Now you should be, after a month of really getting your trading plan stuff, get a little paper trading account, because paper trading accounts are free. It's not actual money, but then you can start doing walkthroughs of trading, submitting orders, getting familiar with having yourself in the market, quote unquote, and looking at things and trying to react, and plan trades, and then create the process for trading. How are you going to incorporate your trading plan? Make sure you're properly utilizing all of the tools and processes you laid out over the last 30 to 45 days, making sure you're actually utilizing them, and then making sure your system is actually set up, your computer screens are set up, and it works for you. Visualize yourself going through the trading day and really getting yourself amped up here, because we are getting through some meat of things now, and now it's the fun part. Now you're going into the markets and you're actually seeing these processes blossom. Number 7, and this should be like 2 months at least. Start trading with real money, but super, super small size. This is not going to be about making money here. You're going to be so tempted, especially if after like a week or 2 or a month, you're like, I keep making money here. You're going to feel like going full size. Don't do it yet. Don't rush it. There's no need to rush this thing. Patience is one of those core virtues here. The goal here is to find out about yourself as you trade. Having real money in the market is a completely different beast. I don't care how you did in paper trading. I don't care how much you visualized it. When the skin's in the game, that's when you start to, really feel the emotions and see how your body reacts. So that's where you're really going to make sure that your processes and your reviews are adequate for when you have money in the market. Make sure you're doing your emotional journaling. Don't come out until you've been as close as you can to 100% efficiency, which means not 100% profitability. No one does that. No one in the market does that. I don't care what they say. But 100% efficiency in terms of following your plan, not letting emotion rule you, and following your processes for 3 weeks. You want to make sure that these habits are being followed and that you are strong mentally. At step 8, over the next 2 weeks, really, after now you've had some money in the market, you've gone through these processes. At this point, we've been going for 3 or 4 weeks. Reevaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Did you find some strengths or weaknesses that you didn't realize you had here? And start deciding on, well, all right, I think I'm starting to get a sense for what kind of trader I'm going to be. And, maybe you've already started building some trading strategy ideas. And, maybe, as you've been trading with small size through this process, you've started to get some ideas and some indicators that you might like. This is where you can really start to have a little confidence in what you're writing down there in that trading strategy and that trading edge. And then step 9 is going to be, over a month, moving your trading size up very gradually to like a normal trading size. This is going to be after consistent results. Now, look. What I'm telling you here, this process right here could take different times for different people, and there's not a right or wrong size for you. Remember, if we sat here and we properly laid out our objectives, our risk parameters, and our goals here, you should know what a normal trading size is for you. Because at this point, maybe now you have 6 months of normal size trading to really kind of stretch your legs in the market. So you need to make sure you're still you're not going all in, and you're not risking everything as you're still continuing to grow and learn in the market. So now you've got that foundation, though. You've got the processes. You've done it. It's been 4 to 5 months here. And at this point, if you've actually followed through at this point, congratulations, because you have done some of the hardest work out there at this point. And now you just make adjustments as you see fit. Make sure your signposts are good as you're going along and your checkpoints. And just remember, it'll take some traders over a year to be consistent and profitable. You're not necessarily going to be a consistently profitable trader here, but what you are going to have at this point is the processes, the routines, the tools, the system and infrastructure established before you that part's going to be easy. Creating these processes and making them habits and integrating these core values and virtues into your system, that's the hard part that most traders fail at, and that's why most traders fail. And so if you can get to this step 9 and really integrate this stuff and really start to do some personal reflection, you can start to amp up your to a quote unquote normal trading size, whether that's $100 a trade, $50 a trade, whatever that is for you. And then you'll hopefully be eventually creating a system for when I'm profitable this long, then maybe I'll increase my size this much, and so on and so forth. After this, you get to go to step 10, which is celebrate and give back. You are actually part of an elite group if you've made it through this part. You really are. Like at this point, if you've made it this far, you are so far ahead of every other trader out there. I don't care if it took you 6 months, 5 months, a year to really solidly get to this process. If you've solidly gotten to this process, put in all of those things that we've talked about and integrated yourself properly, just celebrate now. Schedule a trip, do something for you, for your family, whatever, because you at this point are part of the 10%. Balance is why you're doing this. You got to make sure you're giving yourself that personal satisfaction and gratitude throughout the way as you continue to achieve things. Because now, yes, you may not be a trader who's making obscene amounts of money or all of your living out of the market yet, but you have done the things that the 10% do. And you've properly integrated them, so you're already well on your way. And I would already consider you an elite company. So enjoy yourself now, give back, help someone else who might be starting to go through this process. I'm not saying you're a master and can tell them how to trade, but really helping them kind of put in processes. And maybe if you can lessen someone else's learning curve, because maybe you stumbled here and you realize, well, if I did this, it would really help me with this process. Helping someone else with that process and identify how they can increase their learning curve and their processes, that's great for the soul, and it feels good, and it's going to really feel good to give back to other traders. Now, I have one last secret for you before we leave. The secret is that you're only halfway there. The next challenge now that you've gotten the processes is to become an elite trader and to become a consistently profitable trader. And whatever that definition is for you, that end goal, that why, that vision statement, now the goal is to get there. And this is the fun part, and we will see you all there. We'll be waiting on the finish line with some champagne. We'll say coming in 2021, we might have some more courses coming. We're going into the end of this calendar year, so, hopefully by the end of this month, by the end of December, and if you're watching this next year, then, give yourself by the end of the month, in this following year, we'll see you on the other side, and you'll be having new processes. You'll be a successful trader. We'll have more courses. We'll be on YouTube still. We'll be on Twitter. We'll still be in the community, and you'll have so many other people out there with you trading, and you'll be an entirely different person. So if you've been here from the beginning, if you've been watching since episode 1, I want to thank you so much. I know that many people drop off, and I know that some people may have just found this video, and if you're going to go back and watch the other ones, thank you and congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. You will always find us on YouTube and on Twitter, and if you have any questions or you want any feedback, we sent you that email, we gave you that email, drop a comment in the YouTube, on our YouTube, or reach out to us on our Twitter. We're on almost every social media platform under Vant Trading, and we're here for you. I'm not asking for any money. We make our money in trading, and we make our money wherever else we need to make it in our business and our hedge fund, and I don't need that. I'm here to just, all of us, all of the Vant Trading traders are here for the viewers, here for the people going through this process, because we know what it's like. And we know that it can be a pain in the ass. And if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't have that guidance, it can be even that much tougher. And that trading can be a difficult profession if you don't take the right steps. But I think if you watch these videos and you really take the time and you're patient with yourself, I think you'll be surprised. So this is going to be Nick with our Day Trading for Beginner series, class 20 of 20, signing off. And as always, safe trading.